Discover the incredible transformation. A single mom harassed on a flight meets a hidden hero facing life's real battles. The gates of the airport buzzed with life. Families reunited, travelers hustled, and the sweet smell of coffee wafted through the air, filled with whispered excitement. Lisa stood in line, holding tightly to her son Jake's hand. At 32, she was the embodiment of the American dream, balancing 2 jobs, all for the bright smile of her 10-year-old. This flight to California wasn't just a trip, it was a family wedding and, for Lisa, an escape from the relentless grind of bills and late nights. It was a chance to breathe, to recharge, and to make memories that mattered. As they settled into their cramped seats, the summer heat pressed down around them, mingling with the anticipation in the air. Jake's excited chatter filled the space, and for a moment, everything felt perfect. But the tranquility shattered when a loud voice erupted from the back. A man, swaying slightly, fueled by arrogance and perhaps too many drinks. "What kind of mother drags her kid on a flight like this?" he sneered, fixing his gaze on Lisa with unabashed disdain. Lisa felt her heart drop. Jake's wide eyes, innocent yet confused, took in the scene. Heat crept up her cheeks, shame pooling in her stomach. She instinctively leaned closer to him, wrapping an arm around his shoulder as if to shield him from the storm brewing in the air. In that moment, all her fierce determination felt far away, eclipsed by the hurtful words aimed at her very existence. How could someone belittle her so easily, when every ounce of her was dedicated to that boy sitting next to her? Just then, a calm presence emerged from a few rows ahead, a veteran named Tom. With a warmth that cut through the embarrassment, he stood up. "Hey, buddy," he began, voice steady and low as he approached, "you have no idea the strength it takes for a mother to do what she does. I fought wars, but let me tell you, the real battles are at home." His voice resonated, drawing others in. Murmurs of agreement rippled through the cabin, passengers shifting in their seats, their eyes widening. As the rudeness continued to spew from the drunk man, Lisa felt a flicker of hope igniting within her. Tom's words were a lifeline, reminding her of the beauty in resilience, the fight against judgment. The atmosphere charged with solidarity. Lisa felt herself rising, encouraged by Tom's bravery. It was time to reclaim her dignity. "Before we continue, I need to let you know about something important that's happening. YouTube has been making changes to the system, and many people are losing notifications from channels they follow. If you're enjoying the content, hit that bell and mark all notifications so you don't miss the next videos. And if you can drop a like, it really helps me with reach. Seriously, it makes a difference. Oh, let me know in the comments where you're watching from. I'm always curious to know who's on the other side of the screen." Now let's continue. The flight crew moved closer, assessing the escalating situation. Would they intervene? Lisa grasped her son's hand tighter, feeling the warmth and strength from him as he shot her a look filled with fierce hope. The invisible tension gripped hearts around. The passengers, once mere travelers, felt the surge of collective indignance burn bright. This wasn't just Lisa's fight anymore, it had morphed into something more significant, a shared stand for every mother, every individual who had been belittled or dismissed. As the turbulence outside echoed the chaos inside, Lisa realized she wasn't alone. Would they rally behind her fight, alongside Tom's courage? Amidst the heightened emotions, hope flickered like the lights of a landing plane in the distance. Could love and unity rise from this moment of injustice? The flight continued on, and the situation remained unresolved, leaving everyone, a mother, her son, a veteran, and the unsuspecting audience on the brink of a crucial transformation, questioning what they would do next. What was it that they had the power to change in that very instance? The journey ahead promised more than just a wedding, it promised a chance to reclaim lost self-respect and discover the hidden heroes within each of them. The atmosphere in the plane buzzed with tension as eyes turned toward the source of the disruption. Lisa took a deep breath, feeling the support of those around her. The flight attendants glided over, their faces a blend of concern and professionalism. One made her way to the drunk man, leaning down slightly to speak to him, while another glanced at Lisa, offering her a nod of solidarity. "Ma'am, can we assist with anything?" one attendant asked softly, her voice just above the roar of the engines. Lisa shook her head, still gripping Jake's hand tightly, but the kindness in the attendant's eyes gave her strength. Tom, the veteran, stood a couple of feet away, still facing the drunk man with a determination shining through his calm demeanor. "You've got to understand," he said, "being a mother takes a level of courage and sacrifice that far exceeds any battlefield. She's taking her son to a family event. Kids deserve memories, and mothers deserve respect." The man sneered and shifted slightly, but the tide of support surrounding Lisa was palpable, wrapping around her like a warm blanket. Jake sat up a little straighter, his eyes sparkling with admiration for Tom. "Mom, he's cool," he whispered, excitement rippling through his small frame. "Yeah, he is," Lisa replied, her heart swelling. In that fraction of a moment, she realized this was so much more than just a moment of confrontation. It was a lesson on empathy for Jake, a fight against ignorance for herself, and a rallying point for everyone else on that flight. The collective resolve was undeniable. Whispered conversations flitted through the aisles as more passengers exchanged glances, nodding in agreement. Someone shifted in their seat, raising their phone to film the scene unfolding, capturing both injustice and courage, ready to share it with the world. Lisa felt a surge of determination. She couldn't let this moment slip by. "Excuse me," she called out, her voice shaky yet fierce. All eyes turned to her, some in concern, others in support. Maybe in that moment, she felt more than just a mother. Maybe she felt like a lioness defending her cub. "You don't get to speak to me or my son that way. We're here for a reason, just like you are, and I'll not let your words infect this journey." The outburst sent a ripple through the cabin. Some passengers clapped softly, others murmured encouragingly. The drunk man opened his mouth, but no words came out, his bravado faltering under the intensity of the united front before him. As the flight crew continued to intervene, Lisa watched as others leaned forward, fists clenched and expressions fierce. She felt a shift in the air, not just on the flight, but in a dam of commitment breaking within herself. It became clear, they weren't just riding to a destination, they were taking a stand that in that moment, Lisa realized she had the power to reflect back, both for herself and for Jake. And it wasn't just about confronting a drunk man, it was about rewriting the narrative of who she was. Suddenly, the flight crew announced a change. "Ladies and gentlemen, we're diverting to a different gate," crackled the intercom. Gasps swept through, the abrupt change of plans crashing in like a wave. Lisa exchanged a glance with Tom, who smiled knowingly. "Sometimes, the road we travel shifts unexpectedly. Let us see where this one leads us," he said. Would they emerge from this with newfound strength? Or would the changing gate hold deeper fears to face? As the plane continued on its unexpected path, Lisa felt both fear and excitement course through her veins. What awaited them at this new destination? Only time would tell. The plane rocked gently, unsettling those still processing the chaotic scene. Despite the sudden announcement, the air shifted. Lisa sensed the warmth of camaraderie extending beyond rows like an invisible thread binding them all together. Tom, standing strong with his arms crossed, cast a protective gaze around the cabin. "Mom," Jake whispered, his voice breaking momentarily. "Are we going to be okay?" Hearing the worry in her son's voice, Lisa turned, finding his wide eyes filled with innocent confusion. She knelt down beside him, meeting his gaze. "Absolutely, buddy. We're going to be just fine. Remember what Tom said. We're stronger together." In that moment, Jake's face brightened a little, a hint of confidence replacing his uncertainty. The tension had not vanished, but it felt lighter, buoyed by collective resolve. A few passengers began to clap softly, the sound contagious as it bubbled up in the cabin. Lisa felt a smile break across her face, the noise echoing like a heartbeat, synchronizing with her own pulse. Then the flight attendants returned, and the one speaking to the drunk man, who was now visibly shaken and avoiding eye contact, turned her focus to Lisa. "Ma'am, if you need to take a moment, we can hold the flight until you feel comfortable." "No, we're okay," Lisa replied, her heart thumping with unprecedented power. I don't want to give him more control over this flight. We're moving forward. The attendant nodded, her expression softening. Good for you. Let us know if there's anything else we can do. As she moved on, other passengers began to share stories of their own challenges of strength found in hardship, how they confronted unfairness in their lives. Lisa listened, rapt and inspired. Each shared story was like a stone dropped in a pond, sending ripples across the cabin, merging into a collective determination to support one another. The murmurs grew into bold voices, sparking a conversation about hope, community, and resilience. This isn't just about one fight, a woman in the front remarked, her voice strong. It's about how we stand together against hate and ignorance. Exactly. Another passenger added, clapping along with others, unity echoing through the aisle. Tom, taking a step forward, smiled at Lisa, his eyes gleaming with pride. You see those hands, Lisa? Those aren't just hands clapping for you. They're hands ready to lift you whenever you need it. The drunk man, feeling cornered by his own failing bravado, sank deeper into his seat. Lisa glanced over, meeting his gaze with an unwavering stare. The heat from her newfound strength surged through her, and she silently vowed to never again let someone dim the light she fought so hard to ignite. Just then, the captain's voice crackled over the intercom once more, steadier this time. We appreciate everyone's patience as we prepare for landing at our unexpected gate. We'll be on the ground shortly. Thank you for flying with us, and remember, you're not just passengers, but part of a community. Lisa squeezed Jake's hand tighter, feeling the warmth of the moment wash over her. It no longer felt like a mere flight being guided through turbulence, it felt like a journey graced by the lifting power of shared spirit and fortitude. But deep inside her lay a question, one she knew would shape the next chapter of her life. Was this experience merely a blip on the radar, or was she on the brink of discovering something larger than herself? As the wheels touched down, a shiver of anticipation ran down her spine. Would this unexpected diversion lead to greater revelations? The weight of possibility hung in the air, a promise of change lingering just beyond the horizon. The cabin filled with a mix of nervous laughter and relieved sighs as the wheels screeched against the tarmac. Lisa could barely hold back the tide of emotions washing over her: fear, pride, gratitude. She took a deep breath, feeling the weight of the moment settle upon her. "See? I told you we'd be okay," she said, beaming down at Jake, who looked up at her with wide, wonder-filled eyes. The plane came to a halt, and passengers began to unbuckle their seatbelts, the atmosphere buzzing with energy. Lisa could hear snippets of conversation, expressions of relief mingling with plans to connect with friends and family after the ordeal. It was as if they had all been stitched together by a shared experience, a common thread that had bound strangers into a fleeting community. Tom leaned closer to Lisa, lowering his voice. "You're a natural leader, you know that. The way you handled this was incredible." Lisa felt her cheeks flush. "I wasn't actually thinking about leading anyone. I just wanted Jake to feel safe." "And you did," he replied, sincerity in his gaze. "You showed everyone that strength is more than just bravado. It's about standing tall, even when you're scared." As the passengers filed out, the drunk man sat quietly, his bravado completely evaporated. Lisa caught his eye again, her heart heavy but resolute. A part of her wanted to confront him, to challenge him to see the world differently, but another part whispered that he wasn't worth the energy. Instead, she chose to move forward, leaving him behind in the past where he belonged. "Mom, can we get ice cream?" Jake interrupted her thoughts, tugging at her sleeve, his excitement bubbling over. "Of course. Ice cream it is." She laughed, happy to embrace the mundane joys of life again. She had fought hard for this moment, and it felt right to celebrate. As they walked down the terminal, Lisa felt Tom at her side, his presence like a sturdy anchor. The gates opened up before them, revealing the bustling world outside, a world filled with possibilities. Jake raced ahead, his laughter intertwining with the echo of footsteps around them. Then, Lisa spotted someone as they passed the arrival area. A woman, standing alone, a worn-out backpack slung over her shoulder. She seemed lost, her eyes darting around. Something tugged at Lisa's heart, a recognition that sparked a desire to help. "Hold on, Jake," she said, halting mid-step. She turned to Tom. "I'll be right back." "Are you sure?" Tom asked, concern flickering across his face. "Just a moment," she assured him, breathing in the uncertainties ahead. Lisa approached the woman, offering a warm smile. "Hi there. You look like you could use a bit of direction. Can I help?" The woman blinked, surprise etched across her features. "Oh, I think I missed my flight." Lisa felt a pang of empathy. "That's tough. Let us figure this out together." As they talked, Lisa realized that reaching out not only created new connections but also deepened her own understanding of community. It didn't end after that flight, it was just the start of something bigger. But as she helped the woman with her travel plans, she couldn't shake the feeling that this moment was a signal. A turning point. What else lay ahead? Who else needed a hand? As she glanced back toward Tom and Jake, the warmth in her chest began to stir again. Just then, her phone buzzed in her pocket. A message flashed across the screen, an unexpected name from her past, asking to meet. Her heart raced. Was this really happening? What could this lead to? She felt the thrill of uncertainty, a spark taking form as her next journey beckoned on the horizon. Lisa felt the familiar flutter of anxiety in her stomach as she stared at the name on her phone. It had been years since she last heard from Sarah, her best friend from college. Their lives had taken different paths, but Sarah's reappearance sparked memories, a mix of laughter, late-night talks, and countless dreams. "Mom, are you okay?" Jake's small voice pulled her back to the present. He was bouncing on his toes, ice cream dreams dancing in his eyes. "Yeah, sweetheart. Just a friend reached out," she replied, trying to mask the flood of emotions surging through her. She turned back to the woman she'd just met. "Hang tight. I'll be right back. We're going to get this sorted out." As she walked back to Tom and Jake, a sense of urgency gripped her. What did Sarah want after all this time? Curiosity melded with trepidation. She hadn't spoken to her best friend since the breakup with David, and that time felt like a lifetime ago. "Okay, Jake. We can have ice cream after I check this message. Just a few minutes." The look of impatience on Jake's face melted Lisa's heart. She knelt to meet him at eye level. "I promise it won't take long." Tom watched her with an understanding smile, clearly sensing her turmoil. "Do you want me to take Jake while you figure it out? Would you?" Lisa nodded gratefully, feeling the warmth of Tom's kindness. She stepped aside, focusing on the screen again. "Hey Lisa, it's been a while. Can we meet? I really need to talk." Those few words filled her with a blend of trepidation and thrill. She knew that whatever Sarah needed to discuss was going to be trivial. "Are you all right?" Tom asked, glancing at her phone. "Just old friend. Do you want me to come with you?" he offered, genuinely caring. A mix of gratitude and pride welled up in her. "No, I think this is something I have to do alone." Even if Sarah had reached out for a specific reason, Lisa's instinct told her that reconnection could bring something beautiful. She quickly typed a response, accepting Sarah's invitation for a meeting later that evening. After sending it off, she glanced around the terminal. A place filled with reunions and farewells, where stories began and ended. Lisa wanted to be a part of that tapestry, to gather the threads of her past and weave them into something new. "Okay, let us get that ice cream," she announced, transforming the weight of her earlier thoughts into a smile for Jake. As they settled into an ice cream parlor nearby, the vibrant chatter of families and travelers filled the air. Lisa watched Jake relish his double scoop. The way his small fingers fumbled with the cone made her laugh. It felt grounding, like the sweet taste of life's simple joys, but in the back of her mind, the nagging thought about Sarah lingered. What was so urgent that she needed to meet? After their treat, they meandered through the terminal, and Lisa spotted a group of travelers crowded around a gate. They seemed enchanted, captivated by a woman sharing stories of her journey. "Wow, I want to do that." Jake piped up, tugging at Lisa's hand. "Let us take a peek," she encouraged, curiosity now pulling her toward the crowd. As Lisa watched the storytelling unfold, she felt something shift within her. Maybe this unexpected reunion with Sarah was part of a larger story waiting to be told. Her story, but as she watched from afar, an intense energy pulsed through the air, and suddenly, the room felt electric. What was about to happen? The world around her seemed to pause, holding its breath. What could it mean? The excitement stirred inside her, and Lisa leaned closer, eager to learn what lay beneath the surface of this moment. The crowd grew restive, whispers buzzing like a swarm of bees, and Lisa felt the anticipation wash over her. She leaned in further, her eyes drawn to the storyteller. There was something magnetic about the way she spoke, her gestures animated, her voice rising and falling like a wave. "Sometimes, it's the unexpected paths that lead us to who we're meant to be," the woman said, and an uneasy flutter settled back into Lisa's stomach. In that moment, Lisa could feel the weight of her own choices pressing down. What had she left behind? Was she still that hopeful, vibrant college girl with dreams? Or had life's unexpected turns dulled her spirit? She fought off the wave of nostalgia, concentrating on Jake, who was perched on the edge of his chair, eyes wide with wonder. "Mom, can I be a storyteller like her?" he asked, his voice thick with excitement. "Yes. Absolutely. You can tell everyone your stories," Lisa exclaimed, a smile breaking through her concern. She found comfort in the simple joy radiating from her son. It reminded her why she had worked so hard to be the best mother she could be. But as she watched the enthralled faces in the crowd, Sarah's message echoed in her mind like an unanswered question. "Hey, are you okay?" Tom's voice broke through her thoughts as he approached. He had followed her lead, staying with them but clearly concerned. "Yeah, I'm fine," she said hastily, but the flicker in his eyes told her he wasn't convinced. "You seem a little distant. Do you want to talk about it?" he probed gently. Lisa shrugged, looking back at the storyteller. What was there to say? "Just thinking about life, I guess. The paths we choose and where they lead us." Tom nodded, a flicker of understanding passing between them. "Life can throw a lot at us. Sometimes we just need to hold on to what's good." His words bridged something in her heart, a reminder of the support she had in him. But it also made her realize that she needed to confront her past. The storytelling came to an end with raucous applause. The woman's smile lit up the room, but Lisa found herself retreating back to the ever-looming meeting with Sarah. "All right, Jake, let us head back to the car. Mommy needs to go see an old friend," Lisa said, swallowing the nervousness that had settled in her throat. As they walked through the bustling terminal, her heart raced. Each step felt heavier, her mind swirling with memories of Sarah, good and bad. Would it be like before? Would they still laugh until they cried? Or would those shared moments be replaced by uncomfortable silences and painful truths? Jake's tiny hand, warm and familiar, squeezed hers. "Mommy, is the friend sad?" Lisa looked down at him, his innocence striking a chord. Would she be able to share everything with him one day? "No, sweetheart. Just complicated. But it's important." The car ride was filled with anticipation, the hum of the engine like a countdown in her mind. Each passing block felt like an eternity, and despite the jumble of emotions, she felt an unshakable sense of determination nudging her forward. She took a deep breath as they arrived at the coffee shop where they had agreed to meet. Inside, the aroma of freshly brewed coffee danced in the air, and the gentle hum of conversation surrounded her. There, at a small table in the corner, Sarah sat, fingers wrapped tightly around a steaming cup. Their eyes locked, and the flood of memories came rushing back. But before Lisa could take a step, she noticed the tension etched on Sarah's face. What was she about to reveal? Would it change everything she thought she knew? Lisa felt her heart race. Holding her breath, she took a tentative step forward. As Lisa approached the table, Sarah's eyes glistened with a mix of hope and worry. The moment felt charged, filled with unspoken words that threatened to spill into the air. Lisa's heart drummed in her chest, a wild rhythm that echoed her nervousness. She hadn't seen Sarah in years, and the weight of their past pushed against her like an old friend's embrace. "Hi," she managed, her voice a whisper. "Hey," Sarah replied, her smile shaky but sincere. It was a crack in the walls they had built between themselves. "I'm glad you came." Lisa slid into the chair opposite her, the wooden seat creaking slightly under the sudden rush of uncertainty. The cafe buzzed around them, a cocoon of laughter and chatter, yet all she could hear was the silence stretching between them. She searched Sarah's face, noticing the way her fingers played with the edge of her cup. There was more to this meeting than catching up over coffee. "Jake's grown so much," Sarah finally said, breaking the tension. Her eyes darted toward Lisa's son, who was busy inspecting a pastry case. For a fleeting moment, warmth filled the air, stirring old feelings of friendship. "Yeah, he keeps me on my toes," Lisa laughed, though the sound felt hollow. "And you? How have you been?" That was it. The question hung there, suspended like a delicate ornament. Sarah took a deep breath as if preparing to dive into cold water. "I've been, okay. But there's something important I need to tell you." Lisa's stomach flipped. This was the moment, the pivotal conversation that could reshape everything. Was it regret? A confession of sorts? Whatever it was, it felt heavy and important. "I don't know how to start," Sarah faltered, her gaze dipping to the table. Just then, Jake rushed over, his tiny feet tapping against the tiled floor. "Mom! Can we get hot chocolate? It smells so good." His excitement shattered the intensity of the moment, bringing a momentary reprieve. "Of course, buddy." Lisa turned to Sarah, sensing her friend retreating behind her usual guarded demeanor. "It's fine, Jake. Just a second." As he trailed back to the pastry case, Lisa leaned closer. "Sarah, what's going on?" I got the job in Seattle," Sarah blurted out, her voice a frantic whisper. "The one I told you about. I thought it was a chance to, that's incredible." Lisa interrupted, a rush of genuine excitement flooding through her. But there was an undertow, pulling at her happiness. "But," Sarah's voice trembled as she gathered her thoughts. "I accepted the position before thinking everything through. I didn't account for how it would affect, well, us." She paused, her eyes glistening once more. "I need a fresh start, Lisa. But I'm afraid it might mean leaving everything behind, including our friendship." Lisa felt the sharp pang of loss at those words. Would distance between them mean no more shared laughter or late-night talks? She knew how easy it was to drift apart. "But you're so good at what you do. I can't imagine you not pursuing this. But what if leaving puts us in a position where we can't come back? Where time erases us?" The fear in Sarah's eyes mirrored Lisa's own doubts. It hit home, a truth too raw to ignore. Lisa reached across the table, her hand covering Sarah's. "We can make this work. Even if you go, we can find a way to stay connected." "Are you sure?" Sarah's voice cracked, vulnerability spilling open. At that moment, Lisa realized the weight of their friendship. It was worth fighting for. Worth risking the pain of losing it just to keep it alive. But would they truly be able to bridge the miles that lay ahead? Just then, Jake reappeared, eyes sparkling. "Mom, look," he exclaimed, holding a colorful flyer. "There's a storytelling contest. Can we enter?" Lisa's heart skipped a beat. It was a perfect opportunity, a way to make new memories. But as she looked at Sarah, torn between the excitement of the moment and the gravity of their conversation, she felt the world shift beneath her. "Of course. But let's talk more about your new adventure, too," Lisa said, her voice steady, even as Uncertainty lingered. What would it mean for them to take those steps forward? Would they find a way to tell their own stories despite the distance? As they formulated plans filled with hope and apprehension, Lisa felt a dawning realization: the unexpected paths could lead them somewhere unimaginable. But even as the laughter and chatter of the cafe filled the air, a question lingered in her mind: could she handle the changes ahead? As she looked at her friend, she couldn't shake the sense that something monumental was just around the corner. Lisa watched as Jake clutched the flyer tightly in his little hands, his excitement radiating like sunshine. It pulled her from the depths of worry back into the moment, reminding her that life still moved forward, regardless of the path ahead for Sarah. She forced a smile, wishing to infuse Sarah with the energy bubbling inside her little boy. "Isn't it a great idea?" Jake beamed, jumping slightly in his seat. "We can tell a story together. Like the ones you read to me every night." "Yes. That sounds amazing, honey," Lisa replied, glancing at Sarah, whose expression was caught between joy and concern. Their friendship hung in the balance, but could a storytelling contest really be the bridge they needed to cross such a vast divide? "What story do you want to tell, Jake?" Sarah asked, her voice softening, wanting to engage. There was a lingering sadness there, as if she felt the urgency to mold happy moments before the impending shift. "I want to tell the one about the dragon who couldn't breathe fire," Jake exclaimed, his eyes wide with enthusiasm. "Your favorite?" Lisa laughed softly. "You've got a great imagination." The quiet between them felt less oppressive now. Sarah smiled, warmth breaking through her earlier trepidation. "How about we plan it together, like we used to?" she suggested, her hope flickering again. "We can meet at the park. Maybe this can be the start of something new for us." "Yeah." Jake pumped his fist in the air. "It will be our adventure." Lisa couldn't help but feel momentum building, yet that familiar knot of fear and longing twisted in her chest. This could be a beautiful moment, but what if it only served to highlight the distance that could soon separate them? What if this was a last hurrah, a bittersweet memory to hold on to? "Sarah, you know we can keep in touch, right? Video calls, texts, all those apps kids are using these days." Lisa encouraged, although the thought of being separated filled her with dread. "Absolutely," Sarah responded, her voice stronger now. "But it's going to be harder than it sounds." She squeezed Lisa's hand, a gentle reminder of their bond. "Especially when we're apart." Jake, oblivious to the tension, chimed in, "I'll make the coolest dragon poster." He launched into a detailed description of his ideas, filling the space with innocent joy. Lisa's heart swelled with a mix of emotions. She loved Jake's spirited imagination and the way he brought people together. But as she glanced at Sarah, who wore a smile tinged with unacknowledged sorrow, she sensed the unresolved heaviness. They spent a good hour brainstorming story ideas while sharing snippets of laughter, and for a moment, everything felt right. Lisa felt the conversations they had were stitching their friendship back together, but in the back of her mind, shadows loomed. Eventually, Sarah glanced at her watch, the dawning worry creeping back into her expression. "I should get going," she said reluctantly. "Can we come back tomorrow?" Jake asked, his hopeful eyes darting between them, as if he already sensed the undercurrents. The plea tugged at Lisa's heart. "Yeah, we should definitely keep this going," she replied, but the uncertainty weighed down her words. As Sarah stood, she hesitated, looking between Jake and Lisa. I want to see where this goes. The contest, the planning, I miss those moments." Lisa smiled, forcing back the tears that threatened to spill. "We can create new memories, no matter where you are." But as they walked out of the cafe, Lisa felt that familiar twinge in her chest. The conversation had ignited hope, but it could also mean the last flame of their friendship flickering in the face of change. As they parted ways, Jake waved excitedly, "See you tomorrow, Sarah." But the smile on Lisa's face faltered as Sarah turned away, a burden of indecision hanging heavily in her gaze. What would tomorrow bring? And just as questions swirled in her mind, she received a text notification on her phone, an unexpected message from an unknown number. Could it change everything? Lisa stared at her phone, her heart racing. She hesitated a moment before opening the message. If there was ever a time for clarity, it was now. With everything changing, she needed hope, something to hold on to. The text read simply, "Hi, it's Mark. I hope you remember me from college. I heard about Sarah's move. Let's catch up soon. Mark." The name brought back a rush of memories: late-night study sessions, shared dreams, laughter over coffee. They had drifted apart after college, but it was comforting to see his name now. Maybe he could provide some insight, or at the very least a distraction from the uncertainty swirling around her life. With a quick tap, she replied, "Hi Mark. It's been a while. I'd love to catch up." Just as she hit send, a familiar giggle pulled her back to the present. Jake was bouncing around the living room, pretending to be a dragon. His playful roars filled the air, breaking through the tension Lisa felt. She couldn't help but smile, letting his innocent joy wash over her like a much-needed balm. "Jake, what kind of dragon are you?" She laughed, her mood lifting in the face of his endless spirit. "The best kind. One that can fly and tell stories," he declared, flapping his arms wide. Then his big blue eyes turned serious. "Mom, do you miss Sarah?" A lump formed in Lisa's throat. "Sometimes, sweetheart. But she'll always be our friend, even if she's far away." His brow furrowed, a look of deep understanding for someone so young. But what if she doesn't come back? The question hung in the air. Lisa knelt to eye level with Jake. "People have their journeys, love. But that doesn't mean they forget us." Just then, Lisa's phone buzzed again. Another message from Mark: "How about coffee tomorrow?" It was so sudden, so unexpected. Lisa felt a surge of excitement along with the worry creeping in. Could she really meet him? Should she? "Mom, can we make a dragon fort?" Jake asked, pulling her back into his world of imagination. "Yes. Let us do that," she replied, taking a deep breath. The dragon fort could wait, but a coffee with a friend from her past. It felt like a lifeline, a chance to reconnect with a piece of herself she had set aside while raising Jake and navigating the turmoil surrounding Sarah's move. As they gathered blankets and pillows from the couch, Jake's laughter echoed around the room again. Lisa couldn't help but get swept up in his enthusiasm. They built the fort together, creating a cozy little space full of creativity and laughter. But in that moment of shared joy, she felt a weight deep in her chest. The change was coming, and no amount of imagination could shield her from its impact. Later that night, after Jake had drifted to sleep, Lisa stared out the window at the twinkling stars, her heart racing in a mixture of excitement and apprehension. Would meeting Mark rekindle something lost, or would it draw her further away from her new reality? And just as her thoughts spiraled, she felt that familiar buzz from her phone again. This time, it was a notification about the storytelling contest. What if that became a turning point for everyone involved? Could they all find their way back to each other through stories? With a soft sigh of determination, she knew one thing: she had to step forward. Tomorrow, she'd face the coffee with Mark and whatever came next. But her heart raced at the thought: what if the past collided with the present in a way she never expected? As the sun peeked through the curtains the next morning, Lisa rolled over and took a deep breath, the day ahead echoing with promise and uncertainty. Her phone buzzed repeatedly, and she grabbed it, eyes scanning the messages. Tom had texted, offering encouragement for her day: "You got this. Just be yourself." Meanwhile, Sarah had sent a heartwarming message that read, "Excited for the contest planning. Let us make it epic." The thought of her son's excitement filled her heart with warmth, but the thought of Mark's coffee meeting loomed large in her mind. After breakfast, she and Jake gathered the supplies for their storytelling contest entry. They painted a vibrant poster of dragons, filled with imagination and laughter. Lisa watched her son lose himself in the colors and drawings, and for a moment, all seemed right in the world. "Mom, look at my dragon. He can breathe rainbow fire. Jake exclaimed, his grin infectious. That's an amazing dragon, buddy, she said, wiping a tear from the corner of her eye. The heavy emotions she had carried around felt lighter, transformed by her son's joy. They finished their masterpiece. The clock struck noon. It was time for her meeting with Mark. She straightened her shirt, glanced in the mirror, and took a deep breath. This was about reconnecting not just with him, but with the vibrant part of herself she feared she had lost. She kissed Jake's cheek, telling him she would be back soon. When she arrived at the coffee shop, Lisa was immediately washed over by a wave of nostalgia as the smell of fresh coffee surrounded her, intertwining with memories of late-night study sessions and long conversations with Mark. There he was, sitting at a table, a familiar smile lighting up his face when he saw her. "Hi there. Long time no see," he said, standing up to hug her warmly. It felt comforting, like being wrapped in a favorite sweater. "Hey. It really has been forever," Lisa replied, her smile genuine. They settled into easy conversation, reminiscing at first, laughter bubbling like old times. Yet, amidst the lightheartedness, an unspoken heaviness lingered, the understanding that life had set them on different paths, leading them to this moment. "So, how have you been?" he asked, his expression turning serious. "I've been navigating motherhood and the unexpected changes in my life," she said, her voice steady yet vulnerable. "My best friend is moving away, and I'm learning to embrace a lot of uncertainty." "I can relate. I've been through some transitions, too," Mark replied. "But I've found that leaning into change can lead to unexpected opportunities. For me, it opened doors professionally and personally. I rediscovered passions I thought I had lost." Lisa nodded, a flicker of encouragement igniting within her. "That's inspiring. I've been trying to figure out my own passions, especially after prioritizing everything for Jake. I want to show him the importance of pursuing dreams." "Absolutely. And you're doing a fantastic job. That kid respects you for everything you do," he noted, their eyes locked, and for a moment, the air thickened. Lisa felt a spark of hope in their conversation, an understanding that even amidst change, connection was possible. Yet, just then, a tingling anxiety spread through her, the memory of Sarah stole into her thoughts. How to juggle connections now that change was imminent? With a soft sigh, Lisa spoke up. "There's also something bittersweet surrounding old friendships. I'm trying to hold on to what feels genuine as I move forward. Friendships morph and can endure distance," he said softly, empathetically, as if he had walked a similar path. "Sometimes it takes change to discover who truly matters." Lisa felt his words resonate deep within her. She realized that the path Sarah was taking might be essential not just for her but for their friendship too. Love adapts, friendship bends. The more they talked, the more Lisa felt her heart come alive. They discussed dreams, ambitions, and stories of growth, their laughter blending with the buzz of the cafe. Each shared memory laid the foundation for something new, rekindling both old familiarity and fearlessness. As the minutes turned to hours, the world around them faded, leaving just the two. But eventually, Lisa realized it was time to head back to Jake, fueled by the stories they were preparing. When she walked through the front door, the sunlight flooded the room. Jake was waiting, proudly displaying the finished dragon poster he had artfully decorated while she was gone. "I love it. You did an amazing job," she exclaimed, pulling him into a hug that felt like home. "Can't wait to show Sarah," Jake added, bouncing with excitement. Lisa felt her heart swell. Sharing this moment with her son felt right, anchoring her amidst the turmoil of change. "Yes, we'll absolutely share it with her." That night, after a shared family dinner, Lisa settled in the living room. For the first time, she felt less anxious about the future and more open to the possibilities. A sudden thought hit her: tomorrow was going to be about joining hands, finding stories not just of her life but of Sarah's journey too. Her heart raced with anticipation. Julia and their new adventure promised clarity not just for her, but for all involved. As she stepped back, she could almost see the connections weaving between past, present, and future like a beautiful tapestry. This transformation was not just about her and Sarah, it was about family, community, and the promise to embrace the beautiful unpredictability of life together. In that moment, Lisa made a silent vow to embrace these connections with her whole heart, ready to handle whatever came next. The universe was brightening, a reminder that changes could lead to remarkable stories yet to be written. And so, she breathed in the energy of the moment, looking toward tomorrow where the line between past and future would blur, giving life to the endless possibilities ahead. You need to subscribe now. This is the moment to show your support. Don't wait not even one more second to share this video with at least 5 friends who need to see this transformation. Leave a like now to feed the algorithm. Let us know in the comments how you felt about this ending.